you will do. But in this world, it does not work like this. So much so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in a hadith that the conversation between the hurs and the angels about the people of the earth, it is mentioned that when a righteous person, a believer, a person of Jannah, his wife, she's not pious, and she becomes very difficult for the person. She gives him a hard time. You don't do this, you don't do that, you like this, you like that. That the hurs say that, why is this person doing such a thing? Why is he inconveniencing my husband? It's only a short while and he'll be with me. Now this is only the rebellious wives. Now I know there are sisters listening, so I don't want them to feel bad, but the good wives, what have they got? That even we know that the men, they will have so many women, but here if a woman thinks about, a man thinks about sharing the husband, it's a very, very big problem. If a man suggests to his wife, I want to get married, it's a very big problem. You're going to cause a big problem at home. But in Jannah, these feelings are not there. But also, out of all the hurs, of all the beautiful women that Allah Ta'ala will gift you there, that the most beautiful one will be a righteous wife that you had in this world. So for those sisters, not to leave you out, just to let you know this as well. So what I'm trying to convey to you is there is a real world being prepared for us. We make this the real world, but really this is the temporal world. This is like a screen we are watching that will go and it will never return. Like a TV screen, like them old TV screens, you tune them in. Now you can rewind the TV and watch. Before you couldn't do that. The world is like this. You watch it, that's it, it's gone. You cannot watch it again. There's no repeat. But the hereafter is forever. The hereafter which Allah has prepared for you is million, billion, infinitely times better and infinitely forever. There is no time. There is no day, there is no night. There is no sleep. There is just joy in Jannah. And everyone here is trying to achieve goodness. In their thoughts, in their own mind, in their own view, what they think is good for them. And they try to pursue what they see as normal, that this is what's good for me. How we mentioned monies, career, status. But through this, reality is what they want is just peace in their heart. They want respect. They want honor. They want to be prestige. They want everyone to look at them in this sort of eye, that look at this person. Or even for yourself, look at me, how great I am. But Allah also wants to give you and me these things. But He doesn't want to give it us temporarily. He wants to give it us forever. But here, if you try to achieve them, there's destruction. But if you try to achieve it in the hereafter, then you'll be given it forever. And the thing is, we are like children. Our minds, they're like the minds of children. Is that, our child doesn't want to go to school, he just wants to play. We think our world is success like this. If we have the best game like children, if they have the best PlayStation game, on a Sunday night, if you give them the PlayStation, they'll play. They don't want to go sleep. They want to play on it all night. We are like this. But if, as a parent, you didn't tell your child to get off the PlayStation and go to school the next morning, what would happen? Financially, they'll be in problems when they're adults. They will not have much education. Their life will be very difficult. They'll be in hardship. Similarly, our brains are like these baby brains. But compared to the brains of awliya Allah, then what to say about the brains of the Anbiya and the intellect? What kind of brains? If our brain is like a baby brain compared to the awliya, then what to say about the brains of the Anbiya, the prophets, and the intellect they have? And the method to worship. Allah, He has taught creation how to worship. And when I mean creation, the birds, the sun, the moon, everything worships Allah. But Allah said He created everything, then He gave it guidance in the Quran. But for mankind, when the time came for human beings, when He said that He brought you out into existence out of the wombs of your mothers, and you did not know anything. And this is the truth, we did not know. When we were born, we knew nothing. We had to be taught. We had to be taught how to live. Whereas The animals, the creation of Allah, they did not need to be taught. They were already taught. Allah Ta'ala created them with guidance. But we needed to be taught. Allah Ta'ala made guidance different for us. And Allah teaches us our guidance through a medium, through a person, and these people are called Anbiya, the prophets. The prophets alayhim salam. So for humans, they have the guidance. For animals, they have their own guidance. But they already know who Allah and the prophets are. For example, in one hadith, a Sahaba came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked, Ya Rasulullah, the world has turned away from me and I've become very limited, meaning that he's struggling, he's working, but he's not achieving anything. No financial gain, no nothing. He's struggling in worldly terms. The Prophet said then, why don't you do the tasbih of Allah and special dhikr that the angels and the creation do, and through this Allah Ta'ala supports them and provides them with provision. So the Prophet here, on a side track, the Prophet here is actually revealing a secret that other creations before us already knew a tasbih and a dhikr for their rizq, for their sustenance. Even before we were created, Allah Ta'ala, when they could already give them this. So the Prophet said that why don't you do the dhikr that other creations have been provided? So he says, what is this dhikr? He asked the Prophet that what is this dhikr that they do, that through this Allah Ta'ala gives them provision. The Prophet said that when the time of Fajr begins, so the Fajr beginning time, up until the prayer, so you have the Jamaat time, you have the beginning time, between that time, if you recite 100 times, Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim, Astaghfirullah, it has an effect physically, spiritually and psychologically on the person. And this zikr is like a code. It's like you're tapping into, when you say this, you're tapping into different blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like how you have a pin for your bank account, you might have a pin for your phone. So you have different pins to open different things. And every dhikr is like a different pin. When different words are put, it has a different effect. And this dhikr, if you read this tasbih, that this zikr, if you read this tasbih, it will create an angel. Not only will it provide you provision, but an angel will be created. And it will do tasbih for you every night and every day, and the reward of that tasbih will go to you.
Is it after the first?
No, just at the starting time, when Fajr starts before the first. So in between the starting and the Jamaat time.
After you read the sunnah?
No, before that. Just the starting time of Fajr. So just say Jamaat's at 4:30, Fajr starts at 4. So before 4:30, you can read this dhikr.
How is that after Jamaat's?
Oh, mashallah. So the point I'm trying to make here is that Allah Ta'ala created the creation before us and He already gave them guidance. But for us, we need to be guided through a medium, through a person. And this is why the righteous people say that the shortest route to Allah and to Jannah is the Sunnah. And even when the people will be going to Jannah, that the doors of Jannah will not open until the Prophet ﷺ arrives. And the gatekeeper will ask that to the Prophet ﷺ, that, who are you? Who are you? And once the Prophet will mention their blessed name, the gatekeeper will then reply to the nearest meaning. From the day I was created, I have only been instructed to open this door when you arrive, because you are the only person who is allowed to enter here first. The reason why I'm telling you this example is, when you have passed all the tests, when Allah Ta'ala has done your hisab kitab, when you've been through the day of judgment, and now it's time for you to enter Jannah, you can still not enter Jannah until the Prophet ﷺ has entered Jannah. And if we apply this to this worldly life, what this means is that if you cannot even enter Jannah without the Prophet being there, what makes us think that we'll die a good death without following the Prophet ﷺ? What makes you think in any way that we will become successful without following the Prophet ﷺ? So, imagine a person, for example, people, they do They do these worships, they do their own ways. Oh, I'm going to pray this, I'm going to pray that. I read in the book, if you pray this, this is good for you. If you pray that, that is good for you. He's going to do dhikr all night of what he thinks is right. And then such a tasbih like this, you just read it before Fajr Salat, starting time. You go sleep and you're getting reward day and night. And this person, because he thinks he knows what he's doing, he's going to read day and night thinking he's getting the swab, but his swab will be nothing like the person who's asleep. This is because he's doing something which is off the sunnah. And how are the awliya and the sulaha, the righteous people, very close to Allah? Because they follow the prophetic method. So with even less deeds, with short time, they excel in closeness of Allah. Why? Because they follow the sunnah. It's not about how much ibadat you do. It's not about how well you do your ibadat. It's about how close to the sunnah you do your ibadat. That is it in the right method? Is it in the method of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam? And that's why the Mashaykh have said, until you have given up your own opinions and ideas, if so good, but then if not, then this is a plan to fail. If you're going to follow your own ideas, your own way of doing things, then this is a plan to fail. The only way one can be successful is to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, you see, through these, we can achieve goodness in this world. For example, for millions of, for example, you achieve 1 million by the age of 50. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to give, or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is trying to give, is billions forever. By us doing our own thing, trying to follow our own thing, and chasing this world, and thinking we know how to do things, we might achieve the worldly terms and a bit of goodness, but it's only going to last us here. But when we follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Rasul, then you're going to get billions for you, forever and ever. If you have all the money in this world, for example, it's not going to bring back your youthful age. It's not going to stop death from coming. You can be 60 and have millions, but what's it going to do to you? It's not going to stop you from getting ill, going to hospital. It can pay for your problems, but it's not going to stop them. In Jannah, your youth is granted as a standard thing. It's not even a condition. It's not even a bonus. It's just normal. Just going in there, it's just normal. You do not even age. There is no aging. Even angels will become surprised in Jannah when they see the beauty of the awliya and the people of Jannah. That the angels and the hoods, they will say that, who are these people? What this presence of, look, they say, we've been in Jannah all our life. We've been created here. We've designed this through the mercy of Allah. We've done everything in this Jannah. We've made it. We've seen all the beauty this Jannah has. But this presence, what is this presence? And they'll say that this presence, i.e. the awliya Allah, the righteous people, that once they enter Jannah, that the beauty of Jannah will increase. This is because of the hearts that they have. And in one of the verses in the Quran, Allah mentions and addresses the believers to the nearest meaning. O believers, save yourselves and families from the eternal punishment, from the fire, the akhirah. Because here, we have punishments, we have difficulties, but they're temporal and go. But just to give an example, like for example, now we're sat here very comfortable. In fact, there are people in the world, in Syria, in Kashmir, in Palestine, who are suffering day and night. They're being cut to pieces and treated not even the way animals are supposed to be treated. Look, and we don't know what's around the corner. But the thing I'm trying to say is that, alhamdulillah, and these are lessons for us that Allah Ta'ala has made for us being here. Allah Ta'ala has given us the opportunity to get close to Him. But He has said, save yourself. So Allah said, save yourself. What this means is, you have to save yourself in the method that Allah Ta'ala has taught us. By doing the deeds that will take us to Jannat and save us from Jahannam. And then in this same verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in His meaning, or in another verse, that say, O people, that its fuel is men and stone. That Jahannam, now we're talking about Jahannam, that its fuel is men and stone. That people and stone is how Jahannam, the fire of Jahannam is fuel. Like you put petrol in a car, the stone and people is what fuels Jahannam. And when the righteous have said that, what does it mean by this stone? When Allah Ta'ala mentions stone, what does He mean? That what kind of stone is it that fuels Jahannam? It's because of stones that has brought people to Jahannam. Now you're probably thinking, what do you mean? It's because of stones. If you look at the mushrikeen, the people who do shirk, who worship idols, they worship idols made out of stone. This is for the non-believers. But then what's the stones for the believers? What stones will they use that will take them to Jahannam? What are these stones? These are like the bricks of houses, the stones that we use to build our houses. How can they take us to Jahannam? That in order to gather these stones, we loot people, we rob people, we get interest, we get mortgages. We do fraud just to build these houses. We look at the end goal, but we don't look at the means. This is what is meant by the stone. So that every brick that we build thinking, subhanAllah, look at my house, mashallah, look how beautiful it is. Look at the brick I've used, look at the stone I've used. In fact, that brick is going to be the brick that's going to punish you on the Day of Judgment. The brick that's going to punish you and me in Jahannam. If we're going to make these stones our idols, make these houses in such ways by frauding people, by using interest and what Allah Ta'ala has made haram. And even in the Quran it is mentioned clearly to the nearest meaning that gold and silver is also a stone. And for many people this is also a problem. That they'll accumulate all the gold, all the silver, put it in one way and not pay zakah on this. The right of the other person that Allah has put on us, they will not pay the zakah, the charity. And they've forgotten the halal haram duty that charity is given on these things. But then that gold and that silver then will become fuel for them in Jahannam. This will become a source of punishment. Diamonds. People work so hard for diamonds. If you've made a movie called Blood Diamonds, that then is showing you the concept of what people go through just to extract diamonds. These are also stones. We might look at it thinking how beautiful that diamond is. But if we've got it in a wrongful manner, then the beauty of that diamond is only going to be the downfall that's going to lead us to hell. And what is the diamond of Jannah? What is the diamond of Akhirah? Now, one of the diamonds of Akhirah is Salah, the prayer that Allah Ta'ala has given us 5 times a day. It is said to the Nirmin in some books that here we pray 5 times a day. But there, 5 times a day, you will enjoy special gifts Allah Ta'ala will send down from angels from the Arsh, from the throne of Allah. That 5 times a day they will come and keep giving you gifts and gifts. And there a person will say, oh ya Allah, I want to pray, I want to worship you. Allah will say, oh my servant, to the nearest meaning, I was never in need of your prayer in this dunya before, now I'm not in need of your worship now. Now you enjoy and keep asking for what you want, what you need, and you will keep on receiving and receiving because now you have pleased me. Imagine hearing these words. Imagine hearing these words from Allah to the nearest meaning. But people will still worship Allah there, out of their love, out of their thankfulness. It will become like their habit. Because they worship Allah, they just want to do it out of love, out of being grateful to Allah. And adding to this point, do you know that there will be stress, not stress, but anxiety in paradise? That we will feel some sort of anxiety, some sort of nervousness, some worry. Now you're probably thinking, how can a person be worried? And how can they have anxiety in Jannah? Isn't it the place where all pleasures and all desires are fulfilled? But the reason what this anxiety is that when a person enters Jannah, they're going to be like, so we're not going to die? Are we not going to become ill? Because they've been through so much illness, through so much hardship, and now they've come to a place where it all finishes. And they're trying to comprehend that how can I stay? Is there no illness? Are we not going to age? And before, this will just be the thought in the mind. And Allah Ta'ala will say to them, they will hear a voice in the nearest meaning, that Allah Ta'ala will say to them, people, you've been given life, you'll never experience death again. You've been given health. You'll never experience illness again. You've been given your youth. You shall never experience old age again. And you are going to be given pleasure and delight, and you'll never be miserable again. This is the only worry you will have in Jannah. But back to the point of the stones, that for some, these are different stones we've mentioned, that buildings, jewelry, money, and for some even people become stones. What do I mean by this? It is mentioned that, that it was mentioned that stones and people, how will people become the reason? Why will people become the reason why we enter in Jahannam? Because some people, like myself, have forgotten Allah and Rasul, and they've given their love to someone else. They have given their love to people. In school, in college, you hear, oh, this person's my soulmate. This person is the love of my life. That's it. I've looked at her and that's it. She's going to be with me, or he's going to be with you for the rest of my life. All my pleasures, everything is fulfilled because of this person. And we cause so much difficulty and so much harm. But the reality is, these people are stones. They're made out of dust. I'm made out of dust. That person's made out of dust. So you're willing to give everything just for a piece of dust? Think about that. And the Mashaykh say, they put this example in like a mathematical example. Let me explain to you. If you do 0 plus 0, what does it equal? 0. Nothing. So when you've sacrificed everything for this person sacrificed everything for you, at the end, what do you get? You're just dust. She or he is just dust. There's nothing. You're just people. So you have achieved nothing. But then the Mashaykh said that if you plus 0 plus 1 equals what? Equals 1. And what this means is that if you sacrifice yourself for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you might be dust. But then Allah ta'ala will also make you permanent like Himself. Will make you permanent in the hereafter. Will make you one. Will make you something that is permanent and here and will exist forever and ever by the will of Allah. But the stones which are good, the stones which will take you to Jannat, are the hearts of the awliya Allah. They are the stones and the gems of Jannah. And they will be so beautiful, like we mentioned, that their presence when they come into Jannat, that the people of Jannat will say that this person has beautified Jannat, has made Jannat more beautiful than what it already was. This is what the awliya Allah, why? Because they had the love of Allah, and they had the love of the Prophet ﷺ and compassion on people. And only goodness flows through them. And that now they have become kings of paradise. And just on this final point, I wanted to mention is that one of the most beautiful things in Jannat is your time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the conversations that we are going to have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that it will be said to us that, O people of paradise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace be upon you, Assalamu alaikum. Allah ta'ala will send His salam. Now imagine hearing Allah sending you salam for the first time. That Allah ta'ala is sending you salam. And then we will respond. We pray this after namaz all the time. Allahumma anta salam, minka salam, wa tabarakta ya zal jalali wal ikram. We will respond to Allah, O Allah, you are peace. And from you is peace. Blessed and blessed are you, O possessor of majesty and honor. So Allah will laugh to them and say, O people of paradise, where are those who used to obey me without having even seen me? This is the day of increase. This is the day that you will get everything you asked for. This is the day that the mercy of Allah in full force, whatever you want, anything and everything will be fulfilled. This is that day. Imagine hearing them words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this world not worth sacrificing just to hear them words? That you now have become successful. That all problems have come to an end. And the people of dunya, the people who love dunya, the people who've sacrificed and achieved dunya, these multi-millionaires, these people who have given everything, and people are running around them and they own so many buildings and everything, on the day of judgment when they come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what will they say? That, oh Allah, this day was only a day or half a day. This world, this dunya, it felt like a day and a half. Please send us back so we can worship you. What will Allah say to them? No. The time now is done, to the nearest meaning. This is the day of judgment. This is the day of reckoning. This is where everything will come to an end. Who's done good will receive good. Who's done bad will receive Jahannam. And the angels will come with shackles and take them. And the point I'm trying to say is that this world is very small. This time is very short. It is only a deception that we have, that we think that it's long. It's our image. It's because we have forgotten our real home, that we have made this home our real home. But this is not our real home. Our real home has been prepared for us the day we were born, the day we were created. There are servants there waiting for us. There are wives and different foods and different things, gold, material, whatever you can dream of, whatever you can think of is waiting for you in that home. Everything is prepared. Every single thing that we can think of, that you can, even what you cannot imagine, are there. Like in your home there, you'll have such walls where you can see out but the person can't see in. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning, floors of musk and diamonds and gold. And not gold of this world, gold of something you cannot even comprehend. And it is said that the hurs, the wives that you will get there in Jannah, that if just a third of their hair was to come, it would bring so much light in this world, it would become unbearable for us to see. If their hair was just a third of their hair was to come in this dunya. If their saliva went into the water here, into the rivers, into the sea, it becomes sweet. The sweetest water you've ever tasted. So look, brothers and sisters, this world is temporal. The purpose of me conveying Jannah to you is not that we just think, wow, and oh, this is amazing, but the fact that we work for it and that we attain this. Allah Ta'ala has made this for you and me to attain. Jahannam is not for us. Jannah, Allah Ta'ala wants us to be near to Him. But what we need to ask ourselves is, do we want to be near to Allah and His Rasul? And do we love Allah and Rasul more than anything else? So may Allah Ta'ala give me and you the ability to act upon what is said and to be able to have clarity of the hereafter and achieve the hereafter and the goodness of the hereafter and save us from Jahannam. Subhanakallah wa shadu la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Jazakallah khair, Ustadh Siraj. It's been honor having you here today. But as you've covered some very important topics, I just wanted to ask a very quick question to all the brothers here. Who's going to live forever? Who's going to live forever? Put the hand up. MashaAllah. These blessed brothers are going to live forever. But in this life, who's going to live forever in this life? Inshallah. After life, yes, the person will live forever. But this life, your time has a cut-off point. And for the sisters as well. So what I've actually brought with me, I've got today in my hand. What Ustadh Siraj was referring to is that he constantly reminding us that we have to work for the akhirah. It's no good Ustadh Siraj coming, telling you, oh, Jannah is so great, the walls are made of gold, you can see through them, and people can't see in. MashaAllah, this is all good. But we're only getting fed the imagination, the visualization. When is it going to be the time when we achieve this? And I've actually got this here with me today. And Ustadh Siraj is one of the teachers who actually assist in teaching this course under the teaching and guidance of our teacher, Sheikh Ahmed Dabbagh. What this is, and you can also see them afterwards, after the zikr method, ask them, and youngsters as well, those youngsters here and those who are older, come and ask, how can I really attain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's closeness? How can I attain Jannah? And here what we have is a systematic course. Now when I say course to you, I'm not saying to you, right, you're going to subscribe to a membership and have to be here every single day or every single week. No. What this course is a course of self-purification. For you to do your own muhasibah. Right, okay, this is highlighting to me at the back. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll just try to summarize it. Here's a picture of a heart diagram. There's the tongue, ears, eyes, hands, private parts, feet, etc. Now each of the heart has different channels. Each channel brings darkness into it when a person sins. So what this course actually focuses on, and the beauty of it, is that you are slowly going to rid yourself of the sins that take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what Ustadh Siraj is trying to give us the motivation to actually follow. So this is obviously, we've got 2 cards here, but we can make these available. So after the zikr mahfil, inshallah, we're going to switch the lights off, inshallah. Today it's going to be played on audio. So I'll just very quickly go through the etiquettes, but just one last time. Try to actually make time and sit with Ustadh Siraj afterwards and seek a mashwara consultation. How can I actually follow this path and course of self-purification, inshallah? And if other weeks, inshallah, if the person doesn't get opportunity today, they can come see myself in following weeks, inshallah. So now, if I could just ask Brother Awais to just get the lights, inshallah. Yeah, so firstly, what I want everyone to do is the sisters try to... Firstly, I'd like to request all the brothers, I know, mashallah, we've had a wonderful bayan. Alhamdulillah, hopefully we can all benefit. But now what a person should do